Prusa keeps proving why they are the nicest company for the consumers.
Nice doesn't always pay the bills. That's the bummer. The bummer side of it is Nice doesn't pay the bills. Like a timing, like an old-timey timing light. Super freaking cool. It's very difficult to get on camera. We see companies, and I guess Bambu kind of started this, maybe. I don't know. You'll have to help me on this. So Bambu's the first one that I can think of that have a semi-automatic belt tensioning system where
I think you are right on that.
You loosen some screws, springs auto tension the belts, and then you tighten the screws again.
Actually, I think Stratasys has done that first.
Okay.
Because it's Stratasys.
Fine.
Doesn't explain much, but Stratasys' one is motorized.
Yes.
So they measure it at a pre-calibration and then it automatically does it.
Correct.
I do think Bambu Lab have a nice middle ground.
Yeah. Cheaty has something similar.
Self-tensions.
The Prusa...
I will argue, I don't like it. I do not like that type of tensioning system.
I think it leaves a lot of room for variability, especially with the spring rate of the springs themselves. But I think that is much better than trying to trust users doing it themselves. And that's where the stroboscope thing comes in for me of like, you could easily have the tuner in the wrong place and pick up, you know, a frequency that you weren't expecting and you over tighten or under tighten your belts. The stroboscope kind of stops that, right? This stops all of those issues from happening, in my opinion. This is like removing as much of the human factor as possible. And when it comes to dealing with printers and getting them running right, you kind of have to do that, because at the end of the day, we as consumers are kind of dumb. We're going to screw things up. I screw things up all the time, right? And if we can't deal with that and try to make it so the machines are smarter to solve the problems themselves with maybe a little bit of human interaction, then we're doomed to have machines that aren't easily serviceable.
Yep.
So I look at the system and say, you know what? Basically, every manufacturer has lights inside of their printers, right? There's no reason you couldn't implement a similar system on basically every other machine out there. And I would argue that other manufacturers should absolutely take note of this and look at trying to implement something similar on their machines. I think it would be a huge value to users to be able to make sure everything is right. Like, when was the last time that you rechecked belt tension on your printer?
Which one?
I can tell you.
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah,
because I check mine quite regularly, but that's because I've got the... I'm going to butcher this because I do not know the actual designer. I should say that now. Behind the Wes 3D tensioner thing. Once I got them, I check it quite regularly. I'm just like, oh, this print failed. Let me check the belts. Just put it on, check it, go off, and it keeps it the same tension. I do not know what that tensioning tool is called, but I do appreciate having a good tension meter.
PF Makes.
And PF Makes, there we go. So I've got two PF Makes tension meters because I put both on the machine at the same time to check both belts, because obviously if you tension one, it does something to the other. Yeah, I love them. It's actually one of the things where if you are getting into the hobby, I kind of would recommend having one.
They're so affordable. They're good to have. I have one now. It actually came with a printer that I bought used, so I have one now. Have not used it. Got to be honest.
It's great.
Have not used it.
It's great.
I know they're great.
On try it on your Mark III or Mark IVs and just check the tension between all of them.
I'm not doing that.
Just do it. No. Quick.
I don't want to call myself out like that. And it's not in here anyways. It's deep in a box in my garage. I'm not going to go get it.
Ugh.
It would require me going outside because the door to my garage is currently blocked by printers.
Get yourself shipping crates. Give yourself some space.
Yeah, I really, really like this method. It's like nobody's thought of it before, and it's such a dumb, simple idea. It's like, why hasn't anybody thought of this before?
The industry's new. People have thought of this before because timing lights exist.
But for tensioning belts on 3D printers. Yeah, like, I want to talk to the person that thought of this inside of Prusa or whoever, gave the idea to Prusa and being like, Dude. Reth is in the chat. I was hoping that Reth was going to show up for this one, saying there's a difference between machine parts and consumer expectations. Consumers want things pretty. VFAs look ugly. I totally agree. They've started to learn more about the cause, started to learn how to get rid of them. I would love to see Prusa working with the Unicorn Chasers, Reth's group of like crazy turbo nerd. That I'm saying this lovingly, to be clear. I am a crazy turbo nerd myself, which may or may not help what I'm trying to say here, but the people that are hyper focused on getting the perfect print, I would love for them to be involved in this as well. Like, we have such a cool community of people that can provide so much value, and I would love to see Prusa tapping this community and saying, hey, Prusa has admitted to this problem. Prusa themselves have admitted and say, we have this issue. I would love for them to say, we know you guys are the experts. We would love for you to help us. I'm not certain that Prusa themselves have an expert on VFAs. They might. I'm not certain that they do. But I can tell you that Reth's group, they know all about input shaper, belt tensions. They've gone through this. And they're still learning more about VFAs. But they're further along in this path, and I feel like paying them to assist in solving this problem would get us closer to a like ideal solution and make the Core 1 such a venerable monster of a 3D printer that, quite frankly, it deserves to be. The damn thing is built like a tank. There's no reason for that printer to be as strong as it is. The latest update to EasyPrint.
I don't know about this.
So EasyPrint is their like browser-based print directly to your machine. You get it from Printables.
The one button press, like it just sends the file with a pre-done slice and it just does it.
It's more than one button, but yes, right. It is their answer to the MakerWorld print direct button. EasyPrint is like a washed down version of Prusa Slicer that runs in a browser, in an app, right? It used to only be for Prusa printers. This past week, they updated it, and other manufacturers can add their machines. They launched instant support for Elegoo. I think Anycubic was in there. Bambu is in there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look at them playing nice.
And
Prusa keeps proving why they are the nicest company for the consumers.
No, nice doesn't always pay the bills. That's the bummer. The bummer side of it is nice doesn't pay the bills. It can help.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that this move was unexpected for me. It kind of like, whoa, wait, why? The initial business in me is like, why the hell would they do that? What a bad move from a business perspective. But then I'm like, no, Prusa didn't care about the business side of this. It's the community side of this.
It's not even that. It's the fact that now there is a business side to this.
More users on Printables.
And Prusa now controls every part of that market that isn't Bambu Lab. Where previously it was just Prusa machines. Mm-hmm. Now it is every machine except Bambu Lab.
No, Bambu's on EasyPrint.
Exactly. So they are going to, at this rate, force themselves to become the default.
I think it is a great way for for them to build market share. It's a great way to do that, but it's a really weird one. Did you see this coming? Like, did you expect them to do this?
No,
I didn't.
I wouldn't have. I legitimately do not understand it, but I can see the logic behind those reasons.
Yeah. Understanding that it becomes a market share thing, it makes sense. But this shows where some of the mindset is in their development team, that they were working on this clearly for a while. And I love that, dude. That is so freaking cool.
It is so nice.
And I guess, Printables has the whole paid side of it as well. So it will likely bring them more revenue from the paid files, right? So it brings creators more money through Printables and likely has a fair bit of benefit for designers to choose Printables as their main designer space rather than MakerWorld or Thangs or something like that. It's super cool.
The problem is I don't actually have a lot of opinions on this. Like, just straight up, like, when it comes to software stuff, I am very desensitized to other aspects of industry. And because I'm desensitized to other aspects of industry, I am kind of okay with both what Bambu Lab are doing and Prusa are doing. And that's kind of it. Like, I don't have any takes that you haven't very successfully articulated.
Again, I don't think I'd be mad at MakerWorld if they started like this. I'm mad at them that they've transitioned to this. That's what I'm mad about the change, and that it goes against what they built their system around. And so it feels like once again they have said, "Oh, we're about community." Haha, no, we're not. That's like, guys, come on. And I get it. It's the easy solution of dealing with the download farms for the MakerWorld points. Fix the system with the points and move on.
Yep.
Just fix the system with the points.
They just need to fix that. But they won't, because they've got a better solution now that earns them more money in the long run. Yeah, it hasn't consumed your life.
I don't have the time.
Neither do we, but it consumes you. The factory must grow.
And it's why I don't play it.
It's why you have to play it.
But
you have to get into the train side. It enables the traintism at the same side.
I went to American public schools. Give me a break.
You got your tracks, you got your signals, you got your vehicles, and you get little cargo crates on the back. Model route, you got to start them young. When was the first time you got a model train?